This is Public Access Lost Transmissions, Part 7. We don't have Michael today, so we don't have Amber. We're going to be kicking off with a night phase once we start the gameplay. We did a little catch up with Jack prior to starting the recording, so I'm not going to do a big, heavy recap right away. I do, however, want to meet Jack's new character. So, Jack, maybe tell us the basics of your new character, name, look, etc., and then tell us some of those other things, like what does your new character, uh, what do they do back home? What do they want to do? Do they have a significant other? That kind of thing, just some backstory stuff. And the rest of us will pay close attention and we will give you something to add to your corner of the house. We'll kind of figure out during the night phase how we introduce this character to the group, but out of character, we'll get them introduced. So tell us about your new character. Who are you playing?
I am playing Shane Wright. Pronouns are she, her. The last name might sound, or both names might sound familiar because they are, but we'll get to that later. But her style is all the scarves. She likes a little sensible fashion scarf, even in the heat of summer. Her takes you back items are Book It, the Pizza Hut Book It program, the Oregon Trail, and Tiger Beat magazine, which makes sense given her connection to a previously and now deceased character. She has, as her starting move, she has Sight Beyond Sight, which may be premonitions or omens or just having, women's intuition, but she's able to step into locations and ask questions about them as if to get a bit more information upfront about them. Um, Otherwise, what she does back home is that she is a paralegal. She's working for just like a small time firm rather, not small town. Though she doesn't live in like a big city, I don't think. She does have a girlfriend back home. As to what she wants to do, she would like to open some kind of practice with her girlfriend, who is currently a law student as well. That's how they met. But right now she's just sort of content, or was at least content with being a paralegal in her practice with her girlfriend. But recent events, specifically the lack of communication with her brother, her twin brother, who she's been in pretty close contact with up until recently, has brought her out to Deep Lake to find him and make sure that he's okay.
So we probably actually need to fast forward time wise a little bit, because when we last left Ash had only been gone for a couple days, and so I think it might be more interesting and sensible and logical if maybe Ash sent Shane an urgent text message that caused her to rush to Deep Lake rather than like, where is my brother? And then like
Mm-hmm.
casually driving to Deep Lake, right?
Okay.
That way we can kind of justify Shane's being on scene quicker, I think. I think that probably
Okay.
makes the most sense. That's okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's all great info. The rest of us are going to say something that we think can be found in your corner of the house. And I think probably I think it probably makes the most sense for once you do get to the house to also have access um, to Ash's things. Probably everybody has access to Ash's things because they're still there, right? So, but who has an idea for what we can put in the corner of the house for Shane?
Shane has a sweater, a warm sweater of her girlfriend for cutting. Yeah, obviously.
I'm gonna say you have a collection of paperbacks.
What kind of genre?
You tell me. What's your favorite
Oh,
genre?
I think she's a young adult kind of girl.
Okay, some
Yeah,
YA paperbacks. This would have
yeah,
been kind of before that was a thing in the culture,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah.
I think she has like her one nice suit, the one that she would wear to like a court appointment or something, you know, maybe a little bit shoulder paddy and
Wow.
not too much, but yeah.
Love it. Fantastic. You can note those things there for now, and we'll kind of figure out what to do with Ash's stuff later. I think that's it for introductions, right? That's all we have to do. Yep.
Would you mind explaining what
Book it is? Yeah, book it.
exactly
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the non-American here?
Yeah, so Book It is a thing I loved when I was. Oh, you can go ahead, Jack, if you want to.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, Book It was sort of an incentive program to help kids incentivize them to read. And if you read, I think it was like a certain amount of books or a certain number of books from a list that they would provide, you would receive a free Pizza Hut dinner. And Pizza Hut at the time was more of a big deal than it is now. It was seen as less fast food and not quite fine dining, but more like family dining. You know, it was a bit more of like a big to do to go to a Pizza Hut and have like the pan pizza and all that stuff. But it was a big thing for kids to be able to get free pizza and to get them to read more.
I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. Like I am the age when Book It was like a really big deal, and like I loved nothing more than going to Pizza Hut with my little checklist of books that I'd read so I could get my pizza. So personal pan pizza. It was a very fun program.
That sounds amazing.
I still have a Book It pencil sharpener somewhere in my home. I don't like it's my last remnant of Book It, but anyway. Love Book It. Okay. I wish I had Book It for adults. I wish that was a thing. Like I wish you could take all a list of all the books you've read somewhere and get like a free drink or something. You know, like
there
needs to be like a there needs to be like a hipster pizza joint that does that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like, right?
I know. Yeah, why is that not a thing? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And do they like test your knowledge on the book, or can you
No,
just
it's a pure honor system. It was total honor system. Yeah, but it would be very, very low indeed to not actually read the books. I always read the books. So, okay.
Very good.
I love it. Okay. We have this night phase coming up then. And I think just to kind of kick off your start, Shane, I think I'd like to know, what did Ash send you that might give you your first, like, oh, here's where I'm going first, like, kind of thing?
I think the thing that sent her off, or that set Ash off, and was sort of like a panic, was a text about the death of what's his face, Billy, from the camp. Since, I mean, he died in Ash's arms, and so I think that like Ash probably sent a sort of panicked text message to her, or left like a voice message for her saying, you know, that whatever he's in is in way too deep, and he doesn't feel safe here.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that's good. So are you going to Pine Rock Ridge, or are you going to the house, or where are you headed first?
I mean, I think her instinct would go to the house. So I think she would think that he would be at the house, presumably, and if not, then she would, you know.
No, that makes the most sense. Absolutely. So you're going to be the house. Zachary, what are you doing tonight? You going to Zagreus? You're gonna go play Zagreus? You are like you're like the hero of Galaxia Arcade. Like everyone's like, you should have seen it, Jack. Like Zachary was practically being hoisted on the shoulders of all these fucking nerds for accessing the secret levels. What are you doing tonight, Zach?
Yeah, I think actually Zachary might be trying to duck out of that scene and go out to these coordinates, see if he can figure out a way to get there.
Very good, very good. Well, Taylor, you've expressed a lot of interest in putting the Deep Lake Lurker away for good.
Yes, let's put him away. I'm gonna ritual the hell out of that lake.
You got to confront Jessica and then do it. So yeah. Do you have a sense of like how you're going to do it? Like, what is the process by which you're going to? We never discussed the actual ritual or the process of dealing with those.
Yes.
All right.
I'm very.
Let's get right to it then. That means, Shane, when you arrive at 26 Rodenbecker Street, no one will be there because the other two are gone.
Makes sense. So I think as I pull up, and as I get up to the front door,
Tell us what you look
presumably
like.
then,
Like, give us a sense of what you look like.
yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, she's all scars, and
Mhm.
she is Ash's twin sister in many respects. So she has this sort of like thick, curly red hair,
Mhm.
ginger complexion, just like
Mhm.
freckles. Um, whereas like Ash was very like sickly and skinny and gaunt looking. I think Shane is a lot more healthy looking. Um, uh, and a bit more full figured, and a lot more polished than he was. He was always kind of wearing the oversized, hand me down stuff, whereas she's not afraid to, spend a little bit of money to look nice, even if it's just, like a nice little TJ Maxx blouse. But yeah, she has like a, kind of a vibrantly colored little fashion scarf on, kind of thrown over her shoulder. Um, but yeah, I think as she's approaching the door, though, I would like to use my move, which is sight beyond sight. So
Oh,
I get to ask you, as I'm entering this location for the first time, what is about to happen?
you're going to knock on the door and someone's going to answer it, even though it seems like no one's here.
Right, all right. Then
Oh my
yeah.
God, it's Claire.
We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, you step up. It seems like no one's there. That you don't. There are no lights on. You don't see any cars or anything. What do you do when you step up to the porch?
Yeah, she steps up the porch. She gets that sort of feeling as if someone is here, though she doesn't see any lights on. And I think she instinctively sort of dials Ash's phone, but there's no answer. And so she just does a couple knocks on the door, kind of like peering into the windows, trying to see if anyone is actually there.
A light comes on from inside the house, and someone opens the door. It's a man wearing a kind of cheap brown canvas jacket. Even in the dim porch light, you can see that his teeth are really badly stained from nicotine. His hair is greasy. And he kind of looks at you and he says, "How can I help you?"
Oh, hi. I'm actually looking for my brother. Yeah, he was staying here with a couple of friends of his. Do you know him, Ash? Ashley Wright?
Yeah, yeah, Ash. Oh, redhead.
Yeah, he's my twin.
Yeah, I thought at first that that was Ash. I was like, why would he be knocking the door to his own house? But come on in.
Oh, thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, my name's Robert.
Good to meet you, Robert. He didn't mention anything about a Robert staying here with him. I know that there was a Zachary and a Taylor and an Amber.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a local friend. Um, they actually rent this house from my parents, and I come by sometimes every now and then to check things out and keep an eye on the place while they're gone, while they're off doing their little mystery machine thing around town.
How old is this guy?
Mid 30s.
Well, thank you. And she'll just very kind of like carefully step inside, but I think she's a little bit guarded since Ash didn't mention anybody named Robert being here. Um, like, do you know when they might be back?
He says, he seems to ignore your question and says, "Can I get you a beer?" And he goes to the back to the kitchen.
No, no, thank you. I have a long night.
You can hear him. It sounds like he's closing a window. You can hear a window being slid down and closed. Gets awfully drafty out here in the desert.
Yeah, yeah, it can get really cold out here. I
How are you
actually,
feeling right now?
unnerved, suspicious. She's
Take
staying close to the front
unnerved as a
door.
condition,
Well, okay.
and also roll the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now?
That he is clearly not well and is going to take me from his home with
It's
him.
worse than that. Tim Crayley will complete the set. Go ahead and roll with composure. Disadvantage.
That is a 6.
A 6. We'll come back to this. Let's check in with Taylor. Taylor, you're at Pine Rock Ridge. First order of business, making contact with Jessica. What do you do?
Yes. I still have my little testing tube. And a drawing of a kid's drawing of the hand waving from the lake. And I'm just going out on a limb here and I say this is Jessica's drawing, or the hand is Jessica. Both is fine.
Yeah.
And I want to open the testing tube and hold the drawing, like open testing tube and hold the drawing in front of it so that the water has to go through the drawing of Jessica or from Jessica to get back to the lake. And I'm hoping that this will, that the water will retain enough of the essence of Jessica to know that I'm summoning her.
I love it. That's really good. Let's do the night move with sensitivity. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid that nothing will happen and I'll forever be haunted by the dreams of the lake, and I'll have to give up everything in my life in order to get rid of those dreams.
This is getting more and more elaborate here. It's worse than that.
How?
It's worse than that because Harvey Stosky is also there, we'll just say. So go ahead and you get the wrong Stosky. Go ahead and roll with sensitivity.
I get the wrong Stosky. That's a nice way to put it. Okay, so my sensitivity is really great. Let me see if I have anything I can use. No, let's see if Jack has anything. Ash has anything I can use. Damn, no, not college pamphlets. Not really. Okay.
Go for it.
I'll just do it. Yeah, so that's a 6.
Oh, all the little wolves are coming out in the moonlight.
Yay.
You hear a voice over your shoulder. I recognize that drawing. Where did you get that?
I found it.
Harvey Stosky steps out into the moonlight. He's got his puffy vest on, his plaid shirt, that ridiculous hat with the fish on it. And he says, do you think you're going to be able to do what I haven't been able to do all these years? You're going to come out here and wave your hands over the water and create a sympathetic connection with my daughter and get her to just step out and meet you. You're going to be the one to rescue her from this watery nightmare she's been living in for the last 10 years. You think you can do what her father could not do all this
Well,
time?
actually, yes, since I'm not a homicidal maniac. I mean, if I were your daughter, I wouldn't come running back into your arms if I knew what you were doing all these years. What are you thinking, you crazy man?
Everything I did was for her. You're clearly too young and inexperienced to understand the depths of love that a parent can feel for their child.
Obviously, that must be it. Or maybe you're just complete nutcase.
You see that he has something in his hands. It's hard to tell what kind of weapon it is in the darkness, but he's got something.
I have my taser still.
I know. And he says, I think I'm going to have one more go at giving the lake something in exchange for Jessica. Something tells me that you've earned the lake's ire enough to be a suitable sacrifice.
Yeah, oh, that's sad. I thought you were finally gonna drown yourself. Maybe that's what you wanted all this time, huh? Don't you think?
He takes a step forward, and we will cut over to Zachary. Zachary, we've established that you don't have a car. So are you going with Ephraim? Because Ephraim said he was going to take you out there.
Yeah, he'd kind of. Yeah. I'm gonna lean on him to take me to fulfill his promise.
So you're in his truck, and he says, "Man, I can't believe you unlocked those secret levels. This is pretty exciting. This is really, really exciting. I have actually, I've got a whole thing. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to post something on the internet about it. It's going to be a whole, come to Galaxia Arcade, be the first person to watch the secret levels of Zagreus being played, which I'm going to leave the honor to you. Trust me, it's only my commitment to fulfilling my promises that has made me want to close the arcade tonight, because if not, we'd be there right now trying this thing out." He's kind of going on and on about Zagreus and all of his plans about Zagreus and the secret levels, and the way he's going to capitalize on all of this, right? What are you doing?
I think kind of tuning out a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe just, that a few comments about, there are better people than me to play the thing. I was just tinkering because I was waiting for you, and that kind of deflection, and then just really watching the desert landscape out the window.
Eventually,
desert landscape.
He gets to the little dirt road it's not even a dirt road. It's just a barely traceable path in the desert sand that should lead to the coordinates that you have. You are definitely out in the middle of nowhere. You've been on the road for probably about 20 or 30 minutes and not going towards La Fresca or any other of the towns in the county. He pulls out and takes you out, and you are in the desert, the flat, empty desert. He gets to the point where this is supposed to be, and he gets out of the truck. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I also just sort of get out of the truck and start looking around for signs of, if this was a disused missile silo, there must be chain link fence or like a concrete bunker or something. You would expect. That's what I'm expecting to see.
I was on a road trip through the desert a couple weeks ago, or I guess it's been a few weeks, a couple weeks now. And I stopped at one point in this 100-mile stretch of road where I saw it was a 100-mile stretch between basically between El Paso and Arizona, and I didn't encounter a single car in all 100 miles. And I stopped to take a leak on the side of the road, and I was awestruck by the quiet. It was the most like, it was like a living quiet. Like you couldn't hear anything. It was a perfect, perfect desert quiet. And that's what this is like. You might hear just the occasional faint rustle of a bit of desert, you know, scrubby tree rustling in a wind, but otherwise it's just perfectly still. Until Ephraim says, "Well, so what are we looking for out here? Not exactly a party, huh?"
Yeah, it's supposed to be some kind of old Air Force, I guess, base or something. You see any? There should be a building or a fence or
He says,
shit. Maybe it's in the ground.
"Well, I know there's always been a lot of like old military stuff, secret military stuff that happens out here. Or at least that's what people say. Hey, I hope this is not going to be like an episode of the X-Files and there's like a bunch of armed men on jeeps about to come around the bend to arrest us and take us to some secret facility and wipe our memories out and then turn us back out and drop us in a ditch naked."
Yeah,
Very elaborate.
I'm starting to think that might be the most likely outcome here.
So what is all this to you anyway?
I guess my brother, he was into those role-playing games, and there was something about that group of folks used to come out here to play or something.
Oh, that's right, the Blackleaf Circle. So,
Yeah, I mean,
you're looking
you
into
think the
them.
Zagreus people are weird? These people are.
I've met them. They they were really, really determined to get their hands on the Serpents and Sepulchres arcade game. I had to jump through a lot of hoops to get that for them. I don't think they were super impressed with it though. They said something about how a software program could never replace a game master. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of shit my brother used to say.
Right. So you think that they used to play that game out here somewhere?
That's what I heard. There's got to be something here. Come on, you got a flashlight or something?
Yeah, and he does have a little like mag light, one of his pocket mag lights. And you all can start looking around. Um you can go ahead and just make the meddling move with reason, I guess.
You can justify anything for advantage. So. That's 8.
Okay. We'll come back to this. Shane. Robert comes back in from the kitchen and he says, "You know, I I don't know if you know or not, but your brother's been getting involved in some really interesting things here in town."
Oh, yeah, he's told me a little bit about it.
I happen to know that he's been getting involved with some local artists.
Uh, in what way?
I think he's done some, like posing for local artists.
That's a first. He never struck me as the type. I mean, he was
He's a really shy guy.
He very shy.
But I
So it's
found that
it's
once he's opened up, he's a he's a real he's got a real brave heart in him.
I think this is when Shane really starts to feel something is up because she knows that her brother isn't brave at all. And she sort of cools a bit and like starts inching back towards the front door and says, "Oh yeah, he's incredibly brave."
And because you got a 6, he says, "Let me show you." And he's got a Polaroid in his back pocket, a picture that is.
Yeah.
And he shows you the exhibit. And while you're standing there in shock, he just sticks a knife in your gut. And he says, "I'm going to take you to him. I'm going to take you to him. It would be a real shame not to have the complete set." And as you're bleeding out on the ground, he says, "I wonder what I can do with all this pretty red hair." So did we lose another right, or are you turning a key?
Yeah, I think you know what? I'm gonna roll up another one for the next day.
Look at the third
There's a
character.
secret there's a secret triplet that they don't know about.
Tim.
No, I will turn a key of the child.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. We'll come back to this in a moment. You're in kind of a similar situation here, Taylor, except you get a chance to roll to escape or deal with Harvey Stosky. Harvey Stosky takes a threatening step forward. What do you do?
I tase him.
Very good. Night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Well, he's gonna kill me, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's worse than that. Um, he's going to kill you, and in his delirium, he's going to believe that your body is Jessica.
Yikes. Okay.
So go ahead and roll with composure, I would say. Because you have the next victim, I'm putting you at disadvantage, though.
Okay. Let me check my tools again.
You've already marked
Oh
your
yeah, I have
taser.
the taser.
You've already marked it, though,
No,
haven't you?
did
Oh, have
I?
you not?
Damn. Why did I not mark it? I don't know.
Yeah, you marked it last time because you used it with
Yeah.
the guy.
I did. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, it's a 6 again.
The dice are being so cruel today.
But last time I rolled a 12, which was the first, so yeah.
At practically the same moment that one of the little wolves is gently stroking Shane's beautiful red hair, Harvey Stosky is standing over your dying body, Taylor. He's also gutted you, probably the exact precise moment that Tim Crayley gutted Shane. And he's looking at you with wild, watery eyes, and he says, "Oh, you're back. You're back. After all these years, I've got you back. I'll be able to give you a proper burial now."
With my
And
dying breath, I say, nope. No, I'm gonna turn a key.
if we had played the scene out, he would have dragged your body to a grave he'd already prepared, buried you alive, and you'd have died in the dirt. But you can turn a key. Let's check in with
Yes.
Zachary. Zachary, I owe you a clue. Oh, let me check your other clues. Greetings, travelers. Oh, you've already got that clue. Okay, I'm glad I looked. You're looking around, and you're going to find what you're looking for. You find what appears to be a half collapsed old rusted fence, and that almost certainly is fencing off the place where you're trying to go. So that's all fine. The complication is that there might be a single leftover patrol, just somebody that some shit station of duty that, you know, that people who are people who are being punished get assigned to, you know, just to sit out here night after night to make sure this abandoned missile silo, you know, uh, doesn't get intruded upon. So you might have to deal with that person. That's the complication. The actual clue, though, is you find wrapped up in that old fence what appears to be it appears to be some cosplay items. Specifically a long wig, pointed latex ears, a little fake plastic jeweled diadem. That's your clue.
Yeah, I think Zachary will pull all these kind of fake plastic ears or pick them up off the ground or whatever and turn to Ephraim and say, well, some of those weirdos were definitely out here.
He says, have you ever wondered what makes these people want to dress up like someone else?
Yeah, I grew up with an older brother who was into all that stuff. I never understood it.
Yeah.
What do you think? They trying to get away from something?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they, you know, maybe it's a classic case of their parents didn't love them enough.
I don't know. Gabriel was always kind of, I wouldn't say he was my folks' favorite, but they were proud of him.
He says, he kind of looks at you and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, buddy, I'm really sorry, but I don't possess the emotional fortitude to be your stand-in father figure right now.
Shit, dude, I wasn't looking for that. My parents were pretty cool to me as well.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll just keep on being a father figure to all my customers at the Galaxia Arcade. Old FG. He's the man.
Yeah, I think they need you a whole lot more than I do.
And yet, here we are, me having driven you out here in the middle of the desert.
Well, my friend Morticia was kind of pissy with me, didn't want to give me a ride today, so.
And right about now is when a Jeep, the headlights of a Jeep come around the bend, fulfilling FG's X-Files prophecy as this patrol is approaching. What do you do?
I think I just, as soon as I see the lights, I'm just like, go get out of here. And I kind of will dive for cover in the hope that, FG will drive off and the Jeep may maybe follow him, and,
Yeah,
I'll be
lure him
left
away.
there on my
Yeah.
own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lure him away. I like that. Let's do the night move with composure. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Oh, it's completely spotted me, and like obviously realizes that if I'm like hiding, I'm the one he should be more interested in.
I love it. Go ahead and roll.
With what? Sorry.
Oh, I think composure.
I think I can apply for advantage here. That's 9.
9. Okay. Here's the complication. He catches FG and FG gets arrested. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I love it. It all kind of goes as you expect. FG gets in his truck, he starts it up, he peels out. The Jeep speeds up to catch up to FG, and you have access to the facility now. You can kind of back trail the Jeep to find out where it came from. Do you do that?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Let's fast forward a little bit then. You get to what is basically like a little it's essentially like a little station. And then beyond this little small hut station, there is built like set into a cliff wall. There's a big like metal, kind of big metal door that you can go into. It's not even locked.
Yeah, I think, and maybe I ended up in possession of FG's maglite as well. So I will, I'll take a look inside and like pull the door shut behind me.
We see you going down some stairs that are just beyond the door. This is a decommissioned underground nuclear missile silo. You can see what is essentially a wide cavernous space, like, or kind of like goes down into the ground, right? It's just like an empty tube essentially. But perhaps most interestingly, as you're walking around the sort of metal catwalk that goes around the perimeter of this silo, there's a little room. And in this room, tied to a chair with padlock chains, is the slumped body of a person, desiccated and shrunken. There's a complex pattern of salt surrounding the chair, poured into strange and compelling shapes. And this little booth has other utilitarian furniture and dated equipment, including a VCR and monitor. Let's pose a paint the scene question first, everyone. What signs indicate that this site has been visited recently? That someone has come in and checked on the body in the chair.
I think that's just simply the sign of like some of the dust has been swept away off like a screen or something, and a screen and a keyboard. So like almost like somebody's used it or tried to use it recently.
I think whoever was here, they'd come with maybe some fast food, and there's a left behind burger wrapper with some day old cheese in it, or a couple days old cheese remnants in it.
God, I imagine it's like maybe it's like a Whataburger and it just like stinks
Yeah,
like Whataburger. Like you can't miss that
exactly.
smell, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say something similar, but with the smell that the smell of cigarettes still lingers.
Mm.
Hmm.
Let's take a 5-minute break. Shane, you've turned a key, and so you're not dead. um, instead, Robert comes from the back, from the kitchen, and he has a. You heard him like open a drawer, and he now has a kitchen knife in his hands. He says, I was just thinking about cutting up some jicama sticks and carrots if you were interested.
No, thank you. Actually, I was just gonna go find a hotel for the night. But just let me know. Rather,
We've
I'll
got plenty of room here in the house. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if you stayed here.
no, you know what? I just sort of came here as a surprise to my brother, but I don't want to intrude. But thank you. And she started like starting to open the front door.
He is going to rush you, except we see we see the flash of police lights outside, police vehicle flashers, and he stops and he says, "All right, well, I'll tell him you stopped by."
Of course. Um, and if it's okay, I think that in her hand was her cell phone, and I think that she had dialed 911 instinctively
Mm,
and was just sort of holding it. She didn't like, call them or she didn't talk to a dispatcher, but she was definitely sort of like just having it run,
yeah.
hoping that maybe they would send out someone. So whether or not it's them,
It could just be complete coincidence, but
yeah.
there's a woman cop gets out. She's got dark hair, kind of tied up in a bun, and she's a little shorter than you, wearing her khaki uniform, and she's in a you know Nagoya County Sheriff's Department SUV, and she sees you, and I mean, and she can kind of see that you're kind of backing out of the house in kind of a nervous way, and she says, "Is everything okay over there?"
Hello, officer. I'm sorry. I was looking for my brother and his friends. They don't seem to be here, but a man does seem to be here. Uh,
A man.
a man that my brother didn't mention staying here with them.
Oh, so you think it's an intruder or something?
I don't know, but perhaps you can ask him some questions.
Well, and she kind of says, do you need me to take you somewhere first, or?
No, no, no. I have my car, and she just
Oh,
sort
okay.
of gestures to it. And no, thank you, though. I'm just looking for my brother. I was concerned because he and his friends aren't here, but this man was, and something was off about him. I couldn't pinpoint what.
Oh. Well, if you're looking for the your brother and the people who live in this house, I know for a fact that they've been hanging out a lot at the Galaxia Arcade lately.
The place is still open.
Oh yeah, yeah. Old FG. He always finds a way to inject new life into it, you know.
Well, yeah, thank you. I'll head over see if maybe old FG has seen any of them. Thank you,
Mm.
officer.
Oh, Deputy Torres.
Thank you, Deputy Torres. And
You
she's
can
sort
call
of
me
like
Renita.
Renita. Thank you, Renita. Yeah. I thank you so much for your help. I'm just gonna head out then.
Hmm. I'll take a look at the situation.
Thank you.
And she marches up to the house, knocks on the door. How long do you hang around here?
I think she hangs around until someone answers the door. She sort of like opened her car door, but it's like standing out at like Grace.
No one opens the door, but the door is ajar, and Deputy Torres just goes in.
She carefully shuts the car door and starts to very carefully approach the house, sort of like eyeing, seeing what's going on.
Interesting. Make a meddling move with composure. Disadvantage.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. I rolled the exact same thing I rolled last time. All three dice are the same in the same order, which is great. You said with composure?
Composure.
Yeah, that's going to be another 6.
Another 6. You are creeping around the outside of the house. You can hear Renita Torres calling from inside the house. Is anybody here? This is the police. Is anyone here? And then there's nothing. There's just quiet. As you continue, maybe peeking in through windows, you peek into one window, maybe back by the kitchen, and you see Robert lying in wait with a knife as Deputy Torres is carefully moving from the adjoining hall up into the kitchen. He's going to sneak attack her. What do you do?
I see him before she does.
You do? Yeah.
I scream, I call out to, behind you.
Night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid that he is going to attack Deputy Torres and then take her gun and then shoot me with it.
Okay. I'm not sure how it gets much worse than that, so we'll just let that be. You're going to roll with composure again, at disadvantage again.
It's even worse. That's a 4.
The poor Wright siblings, they can't catch a break. Let's go over to Taylor. Taylor, you're going to safely dispatch Harvey Stosky. What does it look like?
Yeah, so I will actually just use the taser.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's down, I kick him into the lake.
Nice. I think he goes down, and I think before you have a chance to kick him into the lake, you see someone rising up out of the lake.
Very good.
Her flesh is puffy and pale, and she has lake muck in her hair. But this almost certainly has to be Jessica. And
Jessica!
she steps up onto the silty bank of the lake, and she's looking down at her father, and she looks up at you. What do you do?
I do like this. I shrug and say he was a monster.
She doesn't seem to be angry or anything. She just is. I think she was maybe even responding to what you did earlier. And
yeah, that's what I figured. And I hope that me saying that he was a monster and not calling her a monster will somehow get me on her good side.
she's there. I don't think she's a danger to you. What do you do to break the curse on the lake?
Let me a second here. I will. Okay, at first I would like to show her the finger
Mm-hmm.
bones of the finger and hold it up to her and ask her, is this yours?
And she nods.
And then I produce the G.I. Joe action figure. Is this yours?
She shakes her head no.
The ballpoint pen. Is this yours?
And she says, these belong to the others.
You still want to play with them?
We all just
Do
want
you
to
want to
go
be my
home.
friend?
We all just want to go home. But we can't. The lake won't let us leave.
What does it feel like?
And she considers the question for a moment. And she says, it feels like waking up from a dream, but over and over and over and over again. You're never quite sure what's real. You're never quite sure what you can trust. The only thing you can trust for sure is the water.
Okay. Do you want to be my friend and help me get the others?
And she looks out at the water and she beckons you to follow her.
Well, that's not going where I was hoping it would go, but well, can we stay here, Jessica? I've got all your toys here. I've got
No,
your little finger and your little G.I. Joe.
you have to see what it's like for yourself. You have to let it see you.
Why?
You have to convince it to let us go. But the only way you can communicate with it is to let the water flow through you.
Any thoughts, guys? I mean, I'm supposed to perform a ritual. Will I be able to perform a ritual
I think the ritual is
underwater
happening,
in
yeah.
the lake?
I think this is the ritual.
All right, so I take everything. I take the ad. I take all the clues basically, and I also keep Jessica's finger. Did she want to take it or just
No, but she
no?
does with her remaining finger, her other finger, she beckons you to follow her.
Okay. Well then, I take off my oversized t-shirt and shoes, and I follow her.
Zachary, you're in this little booth, this monitoring booth where there's a body tied very securely to a chair in the middle of a salt circle. And you hear a voice, a shadowy voice in the booth that says, okay, go ahead and make a perception check. What do you do?
Look, who's there? And turn with the mag light, see if I can see somebody else.
You don't?
Did the voice sound like it was coming from the body?
No.
Like maybe a recording playing over some speaker?
That's possible, but it's not super clear that that's the case.
What does the body look like? Is it identifiable?
It's very desiccated, like it's been there for a long time. It's basically like a mummy or a skeleton at this point. So I would say no.
Hmm.
Do you get closer?
Cautiously, yeah.
Do you step inside the circle?
Oh, yeah, I have to.
Oh, you failed your perception check. You got a 1. Really sorry about that. And there's just a sudden bright flash of white light. And when your vision clears, you're in darkness. You can click on the mag light if you want to see where you're at, but
Yeah.
you're in a different place. You're in what appears to be some kind of underground tunnel. And then you hear that voice in the darkness again. This is your crypt master speaking. You failed your perception check and triggered our dimensional door trap. And now you are trapped in the underground labyrinth. Which way do you want to go? And you can see there are 4 ways. Each of them has been marked 1, 2, 3, 4 with Roman numerals above the passages.
Walking around, I'm not here to play your stupid game.
You have to pick. Which way do you go?
I'll just pick one at random. I'll even roll a d4 right here. 3.
Let the dice decide. Very well. You can cautiously continue down the corridor. Do you?
I think I'm almost panicked in, like, I'm going pretty fast down there with the mag light out in front of me, and yeah, just like a mixture of fear and impatience.
You better be careful. If you just rush down the corridor, you might trigger another trap.
Man, fuck off. Let me out of here.
Meanwhile, we'll pick up with poor benighted Shane. Shane, you call out. This causes you see Renita Torres from your position outside the window. You see her look like she's about to react, but the assailant, Robert, he reaches around the corner, grabs her sidearm, just pulls the trigger close to her chest, bam, and she goes falling back. And then he rushes out at you, and before you can get away, he pulls off a couple of other shots, and you go down. Well, that was not exactly as elegant as I hoped it would be. I'm really sorry I had to shoot you like that. You managed to escape. Why'd you come back? You're bleeding out in the backyard.
Yeah, she's got no witty quips to come back with. She's bleeding out.
Unless you turn a key.
Yeah. I will turn a key. Does anyone mind if I turn the key of the palace?
Oh, that's the one with the mystery, right?
Yeah.
With Zagreus. Let's read it out.
Sure.
Each latchkey narrates a dream they once had of the occluded king sitting upon a blood-red throne, wearing a bramble crown, reigning over the realm of the dead.
You all have to narrate this dream. Very good. Very good. Instead, I'll give you control of the narrative. After basically you alert Renita, she pulls her gun. He tries to run. She like hollers out to stop, and he doesn't, and so she shoots him in the leg, and he goes down. What are you doing in the meantime?
Well, I think once the shooting starts, she ducks for cover, kind of like screaming out. And when things fall quiet again, and she hears Robert moaning and wincing in pain. She peeks out from behind cover and sees him on the ground, sort of, holding his leg, hissing in pain, with Deputy Torres on her comm, calling in shots fired and all that. And she'll look up at Deputy Torres and say, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
She says, yeah, I'm fine. What about you?
I'm shaken, but I'm okay.
Well, welcome to Deep Lake, I guess, or welcome back.
She looks down at Robert and crouches down and says, "Where's my brother?"
He smiles wide and he says, I don't know anything about your brother. I want a lawyer. And he's like, and he kind of winces in pain from the bullet in his leg. And Renita says, she kind of goes through his identification. She says, Tim Crayley. She's flipping through and something clicks with her. And she's like, from the Me and My self-storage. And at this point, backup arrives. They've arrested him. She says, she kind of explains to you this guy's name is Tim Crayley. He works at the Me and My self-storage. And a known weirdo in town. And she says, so you think your brother might have something to do with this guy or something? Or what's going on?
I don't know. I just can't. My brother sent me a text, left me a message rather, a few days ago, last week, saying that there was a death at Pine Rock, that he was there for.
Oh, yeah. It's been pretty crazy lately.
Well, he said that the I guess the owner of the camp died in his arms, and he was really freaked out about it. So he asked if I could just come and get him, and that's what I'm here for. And I showed up, and he's not here. His friends aren't here. It's just him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure what Tim Crayley was doing creeping around the house. Clearly, he intended someone harm. We can. Why don't we? Let's head over to the Galaxy Arcade together. See if they're there, and if not, maybe we'll go over to the self storage. We'll get this figured out.
Okay.
I'll drive.
Thank you. And she'll follow.
Taylor, you
Yes.
have waded into the water. And she's kind of leading you out to the part of the lake that's roughly where the standing stones are, because you remember where they were. And she says, I'm sorry about this next part. And she says, you have to go under. And she submerges What do you do?
I take a deep breath and dive down after her.
There's enough moonlight to illuminate the area just under the surface of the water. You see her there, suspended under the water. And she says, in a very clear voice, you hear it in a clear voice, even though you're underwater. She says, "Open your mouth. Let the water flow into you. That's the only way to make a direct connection."
Okay, I'm not a religious person, but I'm kind of sending a prayer up to the heavens right now. And then I mouth bucket and
Open wide.
open my mouth.
Water flows into you, flows into your lungs, fills your passages. What does it feel like? It's not just water going inside of you, it's the lake, if that makes sense, going inside of you. What does that feel like?
It feels like 1,000 tiny snakes crawling into every part of me and filling up my body, and it feels like I don't have organs anymore, just slithering snakes and water inside of me, and it's moving around all the time, and even my bones feel like they're made of living creatures.
You black out briefly, but when you wake up, you find yourself in the lake bed, except there's no water. The sun is high in the sky. The earth all around you is baked. You don't see anything around, no sign of the camp, the trees and other things are wilder, more overgrown. And you see in the lake bed, which really is almost like a little valley at this point, you see the standing stones off in the distance, and there's someone in the middle of the standing stones. What do you do?
I mean, what is there to do? I head towards them, of course.
As you get closer, you see that the figure in the stones is actually a child.
Is all my stuff still there, by the way? Are my clothes on me and my pockets full and stuff?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, I think you're
Okay.
as you came.
Mhm.
The figure in the middle of the stones is a child. They are squatting down and hunched over, and their back is turned to you. What do you do?
Jessica?
She's
Does it
not
look like
here.
Jessica?
She's not here right now.
What do you want with me?
I don't want anything with you.
What do you want with the kids? What do you need them for?
So that I have someone to play with.
I thought so. If you had someone else to play with, would you not need the kids anymore?
Why do you care? They're my friends.
Yes, of course they're your friends. Look at this. I showed the drawing.
The thing is, the person, the kid, is very careful to not show you their face, but they'll snatch the drawing out of your hand and look at it.
Let's see. Let me show you something. I can have the drawing back just for a second. I'll give it back to you.
He just tosses it away like it's nothing.
Okay. I put it down on the ground, and then I put the GI Joe figure and all the stuff I've collected next to the lake in the drawing, and I say, look, the kids were here, and you were there, and they still considered you their friend. Do they still think you're their friend now, or are they afraid of you?
It's good. We'll come back to this. Zachary, you're in the tunnels beneath Deep Lake. You'll probably pick up on that eventually. The Crypt Master poses the question again. Are you just rushing down the corridor? Or are you being careful? Are you checking for traps? Did you even bring a 10-foot pole?
I think Zachary's just completely exasperated by this person playing games with them, and just goes even faster.
Nice. I think this is going to be a night move to navigate your way out of the corridors, out of these particular maze. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I think that this Crypt Master is trying to lure me somewhere dangerous. Like whatever happened to that person, that desiccated body.
Yeah.
Something like that's going to happen to me.
It's worse than that. You will replace that body in that chair. Go ahead and roll with... Well, how are you trying to escape? What are you doing?
I think really just trying to cover as much ground as fairly quickly as possible. Anytime I reach a junction, I have an idea for how I might give myself a little advantage here.
Oh yeah, what is it?
I think, when he started off in that four-way intersection, Zachary just like picked the direction at random because he wasn't going to play the game. But the next time he comes to an intersection, I think he's like, damn. And trying to figure out if like one of them is likely to loop back to the way he came or something like that. And he puts his hand in his pocket and feels something and brings out that little paper fortune teller from Escondido Street.
Yeah.
I think he almost like gives a little chuckle and then just starts doing the kind of the movement and then uses that to pick a direction.
I love it. You can roll with, this is going to be sensitivity, actually, but with advantage, if you mark that.
Yeah, I'll mark it. That gives me a 7. I rolled a 6 and 2 1s. So I'm glad I got the advantage.
You're navigating around. You're following the directions, and you get to a portion of the tunnel at the end of which there's a shaft of light, and you can see a ladder, your escape. But stepping into the light is stepping into the light is a middle-aged man wearing a skull mask and a black fur-trimmed robe. And he says, I am Korgoth Serpent Feast, guardian of the way. You must defeat my magic if you wish to escape this place. What do you do?
I'm just like, you fucking dog. And just try and shoulder charge him out of the way and go
Nice.
past him.
This is going to be a night move. What do you phrase with vitality? What do you phrase is going to happen if you fail?
That this guy is more than just like a middle-aged man in a stupid costume, even if that's all he appears to be.
It's worse than that. He's gonna hit you with a powerful level 3 spell. Does 8d6 damage. Easy.
I'll just try and get close to enough to him that he gets caught in the area.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Roll fatality.
All right, that's a flat roll. That's a 10.
Nice.
I'm the only person who can roll dice today.
I think the way the scene starts, I'll let you pick up, but like as you're rushing forward, you see him like you're like rushing faster than he expects, and he's like, ugh, damn somatic components. And he's like moving his hands to do the somatic components. Trying to do them quickly so that before you get there, and he's like rapidly like moving his fingers and doing all this, and and he's fumbling around for his material components. And then what do you do to escape?
I think I just kind of drop my shoulder and just like catch him right in the, send him spinning away. And like, he's probably got his hand in some little goofy velvet pouch on his belt, and whatever's in there just kind of goes spraying across the corridor, and yeah, and I'm past him and up the ladder.
I love it. You're going up the ladder. We'll come back to this in a bit. I'm going to check in with Shane one time, and then we'll go take a quick break after that. Shane, Renita pulls up to the Galaxia arcade, and she's like, oh, looks like they're closed. That's weird. FG never closes this place down. Maybe he's out of town or something. She's like, well, it looks like they left one of the games on, though.
Should we go somewhere else?
She's like, well, there shouldn't be a game on. I know he turns them all off. Electricity's awfully expensive. There might be somebody in there. This could be a whole breaking and entering theme for the evening. Just stay here for a minute.
Okay.
She gets out and she checks the door, and the door opens. And she kind of puts her hand on her gun just to be, like just kind of lightly. And she kind of calls in there. And you can even see from the window in the passenger side of the vehicle, you can see the Zagreus machine straight ahead inside the arcade, illuminated.
Yeah. She's a bit shaken up, but I think that she'll start to get out of the front seat.
Would Ash have mentioned Zagreus in your conversations with him?
No, I don't think so. But I think that just sort of based on what's happening tonight, not feeling super safe, being alone in a car in the middle of nowhere, she's just going to sort of get out and sort of park by the front entrance. But as I do, I would like to know what is about to happen.
Renita Torres is going to remember that she used to play Zagreus back when she was a kid.
So getting that feeling, that hint, I think that she will sort of start to slowly, carefully wander in, making sure that the coast looks clearer and what have you. And does she see Renita at the
Yeah, she's at the
console
Zagreus.
already?
Yeah.
Do you think we should go? Is everything okay?
I haven't seen this thing in years. I used to play it all the time. Have you ever played this one?
No, my brother was really more into video games than I was. I've played Zelda and stuff like that, but
She gets some quarters out of her pocket and she pops them in. She's like, "I'll just be a minute."
uh, is it possible maybe to come back? I mean, it feels kind of weird doing this with no one else here,
She's like, "I'll
right?
just be a minute."
Oh, okay. Huh. Um, right. And she'll just look back to the car and realize that she's sort of at her mercy and sort of just like recline against the old whack-a-mole machine, just watching Torres just start her playthrough.
I as she's playing it, she plays it for a little bit. And after a time, it's unclear if she's ever going to stop. And she keeps putting more quarters in.
Do you think that maybe I might call a cab if it's easier?
Just a second, just a second. I'm almost done. I used to play this all the time when I was a kid. I had I had some stuff happen to me. My parents wanted to blame it on video games. They had to actually put me in a hospital under observation for a while.
I'm sorry to hear that. What kind of hospital?
They just wanted to make sure that I didn't hurt myself.
Why would you hurt yourself?
And she says, "Have you ever wondered what happens to us? What happens to us after everything is over? Like, what if Tim Crayley had managed to kill me, kill you?" And the whole time she's still looking at the screen, pressing the buttons, moving the joystick. What do you think would have happened to us after that? Do we just blink out? Just our consciousness just fades to black? There's nothing out there? Or do you think we go somewhere? Do we go to the palace of the king?
Sorry, what?
She stops momentarily and looks at you. The palace of the king. You know what I'm talking about.
Wait, I don't. I'm just gonna call a cab though.
No. Wait right there. It's not safe out. And I'm a police officer. What could be more safe?
Uh, you know, you're absolutely right. Silly me.
I want the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now?
I'm afraid she's gonna. I don't know. I think she's afraid that she is going to. She's going to like kidnap her or something.
Oh, interesting. It's worse than that. She's going to make you a sacrifice to the occluded king.
Oh no, that's not good.
Her king with whom she has not communed in many years. Do roll with composure and at disadvantage. We're getting a lot of mileage out of that condition.
That's a 6.
A 6. Let's take a 5-minute break. Before we continue, we're just about done with this night phase. And I'd like to do after the night phase, I'd like to go ahead and do the key narrations that everyone has to do. Everyone has to do the key of the palace. And then some of you might have others that you have to do as well.
Jack has like 500.
I know, yeah, be thinking of them. But I want to pick up with Taylor. Taylor, this is going to succeed. I think you were going to convince this entity, this child, that it can play with the kids even without having to bring them into its realm. That maybe just the mere fact that kids are playing in the lake is enough, right? And it works. We see a shot of you, the classic, cliche, like coming up out of the water, coughing and gagging.
I wasn't even done with my convincing yet.
Oh, we can go back. I'm totally down to hear more. We can go back to the arid desert crater instead. But yeah, I think you're probably getting through. Like, what does this look like? What's happening?
I just wanted to say that if you were to not drag the kids under, the camp would open back up, probably.
Yeah.
And there would be new friends all the time, every
Right.
summer. And also, I could take a piece of you away with me and put you in an aquarium in a mall where you can watch people all day long. You'll never be bored again.
I love it. So good.
Yeah, that's
I think you
what
come
I
up
wanted
you
to
come
add.
up gasping out of the water. Also, you'll know you've succeeded because even though it's a somewhat sad ending, the bodies of the 4 missing children bob up to the surface as well. They can at least be returned to their families and be given a proper burial.
Yeah.
I think you see Harvey Stosky sitting on the pier. Just sitting there, looking quite forlorn.
Okay.
Yeah, he's alive. He's not a threat. What do you do?
Well, I drag Jessica's body out of the water and I carry her like you would, with my arm around her, but just like slumping, but I still half drag, half carry her towards Harvey, and I lay her at his feet and I say, call your ex. And then
say it again. Yeah. Wait, say it again. What'd you say?
Call your ex.
Oh, yeah.
And then I get to dragging the rest of the bodies out of the water and like putting my t-shirt and my sweater over them, just covering them up a bit.
Yeah, yeah. He does call Mary, and he also calls Sheriff Hanscom.
That's good, yeah.
Who comes, and he goes away peacefully. By the end of the night, Mary will be there as well. And, she's obviously upset about all this. Other people are coming to claim the other bodies. And I think it's really late at night, and Emily Beaumont finds you. And she says, and she's actually like, you can tell she just kind of threw on something to get out here to the Pine Rock Ridge. Her purple hair is not done up like it normally is. And she says, how did you do it?
Just took a little bit of convincing.
Yeah.
But I think it's finally safe to open up the camp again. Like, really safe. not safe like it was before. And I hope you do, because so many kids would miss out.
Yeah.
Am I right? And I throw a stone, skip the stone over the water.
Nice, good. That's a good way of ending it. I like it. That is the Deep Lake Lurker resolved. Let's check in with Zachary. Zachary, you come up this ladder, and it is a hatch that opens up into the backyard of 18 Escondido Street. You see the mucky, algae-filled pool. You see the recognizable back patio area of Escondido Street. And you see the blue glow of the TV inside. What do you do?
Damn it. All I need now is another visit from Claire. And I think I'll go to the window and see if I can see what's on the TV.
On the TV is video of a birthday party Claire threw for you. All your friends are there, laughing, drinking, carrying on. Memories of good times. On tape.
I think it's
The question is, do you remember her taking that video?
Yeah.
I think it's a party Claire threw for Zachary, and he turned up super late.
Oh.
Because he'd been, somewhere else.
What do you do? I would make you roll night move with my pantry girlfriend, but you've been through a lot tonight. I'll let you just say what you do.
I think I just light up a cigarette and watch the video through the window.
The spell will only be broken by police vehicles over at Rodenbecker Street, which you may want to go look into, and that's how your night will end. Let's check in on Shane at the Galaxia Arcade. Deputy Torres says, I thought the king's hold on me was broken, but apparently I was wrong. He wants for us all to join him in his shadowy court.
I think you're real. I think that you've been really helpful tonight, and that game seems really fun. I'm gonna get out of here though.
No.
And
she pulls her gun on you. I don't think so.
Deputy Torres, this has been a very long night, clearly for both of us. But maybe if you just want to keep blowing off some steam on the video game, and I can get out, please.
You did get
You
a
don't want to do
6.
this.
You did get a 6. You
I
have
did.
earned your outcome. She lets you go. She puts her gun back in the holster. She says, sorry, I don't know what came over me there. Let's get you somewhere safe.
And you know, I'm fine. It's not too far a walk back to the house. I'm just gonna go.
Before you go,
And she'll
just know that you've received an invitation.
an invitation to what?
An invitation to the shadowy jubilee. And I'm going to give you a condition. The shadow jubilee.
I'll take it. But I don't have to mark a key then, since I'm
No,
not.
I'm not
Okay.
killing you now, or
Okay.
you can keep going. Yeah. You can mark a key to avoid this
shadow what?
condition. But the shadow jubilee. She lets you go, and that will conclude our night phase. Before we go to the dawn, I think it would be nice to go ahead and do all the key prompts that are owed. So whoever wants to begin, take it away.
I can begin if you like. So that's okay with you. I would like to narrate the flashback to when I first discovered TV Odyssey. And I actually want to add to my flashback from last time. I want to add directly to that. Jackie weren't there. It was a flashback of my childhood trauma when my dad had a heart attack in the middle of our dinner, and I didn't realize it first because he was kind of just slumping down, and I put his head on a pillow, and I finished cooking the meal, and only when I tried to wake him, I saw that he, in fact, died. And one of my first thoughts was that I had to go live with my mom now. And I would like to add directly to that. So young Taylor has just realized that her father is dead. And children that age, she's around 12, don't always do the sanest things. So she decides to just keep going. Just pretend like he's asleep and keep going for a bit. And she eats her dinner, and she eats her dad's dinner. She does the dishes, and then she turns on the TV with her dad still sitting at the table. And she tunes to a channel that she's never seen before. And it's TV Odyssey. And for the next 7 nights, she continues that charade. She goes to school every day, comes back home to the corpse of her father. She makes dinner and slumps down in front of the TV. She doesn't sleep, just watches TV the whole time until it's the morning when she gives her dad a kiss goodbye and goes to school. And
Dark.
yeah, I'd like to stop there.
Who would like to go next?
I can do my Key of the Palace. So the dream that Zachary had, where he encountered the king, was actually after a night spent watching the aftermath of the Waco showdown. And the dream that came to him was from the perspective, it looks almost like a first-person shooter video game. You know, you can see the viewpoint bobbing, and you can see like the gun in front and you can hear the heavy breathing because it's from the viewpoint of a kitted up ATF agent
Is it ATF agent? Yeah.
Going into the compound. But I think it bends from reality at some point because the internals of the compound are not as they actually were. But this viewpoint goes deeper and deeper into this twisting, intersecting set of tunnels, and all over the place there are signs of, dead bodies, blood splatters on the walls, smoke as though something has been burning nearby, and all in the dream, all we hear is the breathing of this person's first person perspective in like a gas mask or whatever. And eventually, after many twists and turns and kind of, sudden turns as they come to a corner and like move to cover it before moving forward, it comes to a central room, and sitting on a chair surrounded by the remains of various dead people is this hooded skeletal figure and the dream ends just as the hooded figure starts to look up, and its eyes kind of pierce through the shroud of the hood, and the heavy breathing and the gas marks turns to a shout, and the gun comes up, and the click as the trigger engages. But the dream ends before the first bullet comes from the gun.
These are dark. I love it. Who wants to go next?
I will go. So I turned a key of the child, which was to narrate a flashback to when I first experienced childhood trauma. And so I think we see at the end of the night, Shane has successfully managed to walk back to Rodenbecker. She's gotten her car and she's driven to a motel that she saw outside of town. Had like a giant neon green cactus man with a sombrero on it. It's called the Saguaro Motel, and doesn't seem to be any vacancy there, or there does seem to be plenty of vacancy there rather. And so she's able to get a room. It's quiet, and she sits down on this bed with this garish looking bedding. She takes off her scarf, and she just lays there, just kind of trying to decompress from the day, and her eyes go heavy, and finally she slips into not quite a dream, but a memory. She remembers being a preteen and sitting there in the cold white buzzing of fluorescence of the hospital, and it's an ER, and there are police there. Her father is there talking to some of them. She gets up from the waiting room and walks past the police, who are talking, trying to console her father, who keeps pleading and asking what happened to his wife. And she walks past them into an area, a bed, where she sees her brother Shane. He has a bit of a bandage on his forehead. His glasses are cracked and broken from where he crashed into the steering wheel of the car. And she stands in the doorway of this room. She looks at Ash, and he's sitting there on the edge of the bed. His head is just sort of hanging in his hands, and she goes up to console him. Are you sure you didn't see Mom? You didn't see where she went? And Ash doesn't say anything back. He just sort of shakes his head. No. in this meek, kind of mousy way. And she just tries to do her best to console him, pushing some of his curly red hair back. But the buzzing in this room starts to swell to this kind of ear-piercing pitch until finally it sounds like all the lights in the hospital are going to explode, and they do. Everything is dark. And she looks around, and in this darkness, she calls out to her father. There's no reply, only this very distant noise, this rumbling. She looks to where Ash should be, but when she reaches out to touch him, there's nothing there, just darkness. And she continues to sort of spin around looking, trying to figure out where she is, trying to orient herself. And finally, there's a light. And she realizes that she's not in the hospital that she was in before. It's rather a long corridor. There's something at the end of the corridor, though. And she could feel that as she's walking closer to it, that the ground isn't the ground anymore. It's wet, it's mucky, it's like walking through sludge, through mud. Until finally she breaks out of the corridor rather, into this clearing. And she sees bodies digging through this muck and mire. They're dressed as if they were sort of in this Greco-Roman toga attire, except it's not clothing that they're wearing, and it's their own flesh. Their bodies are red and raw, and they've been flayed, and their flesh adorns their bodies like cowls, like capes, like togas. She walks through them, this young girl looking at them, and they start to look up at her with these hollow eyes, and they all point in the same direction of the light. And she keeps going. She's scared, but she has to keep going. She has to find an answer to whatever's happening right now. And finally, she sees it. The light is something in the lap of this great figure seated up atop this massive black throne made of obsidian. Its cape, its cowl, its mantle is, at first glance, black fabric, but upon closer inspection is anything but. It's just living shadow. The face is pure white, like porcelain, and there's a very slowly spinning crown of bramble and blood hovering above its head. And we see now that the light is a fire. It's Ash sitting in his lap, and that crown that he wears is a crown of curly red flame, his head adorned with it. And just before Shane can rush up to get her brother, the occluded king wraps his black arms around him, pulling him deeper into its bosom. And then finally, Shane wakes up on this garish, ugly bed, and she's covered in sweat and realizes that this was all just a dream, but it felt like something more.
Fantastic, thank you.
Nice.
Any other key of the palace?
Yeah. I still have to narrate that one. Rob, do you want to go first, or should I?
Rob did his.
I already did mine. Yeah, I only had the one key.
I'm sorry.
You can save it for later if you want. It's fine.
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll save it for later. I can't top that now.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, no. I think we can revisit the occluded king some other time. Dawn phase. Rewards. Ooh, you get rewards. I'm going to clip them and put them in the chat so you can read them, but I will read them aloud as well for people who are watching the video.
They're also in the mysteries tab.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Is that new? Oh, cool. Well, let's read them off. A conversation with either Harvey or Mary Stosky on Deep Lake's banks, where you tell a story about your time at Pine Rock Ridge. Unmark a key of the child you have already answered. This reward is only available to a latchkey who has met the condition, the next victim, and the requirements to clear it were not met. Emily Beaumont, but I think the requirements were met, though, for the next victim. Let me read that to make sure that you've cleared this. The next video can only be cleared. It's container. Okay, yeah, you've cleared it, so that one's not available. Alternatively, Emily Beaumont becomes a recurring side character. You get 1 extra clue on the meddling move when you consult her about matters related to Deep Lake's natural environments, a Pine Rock Ridge branded multi-tool, a lifeguard whistle, or there are 2 choices for a memento from the investigation. Ask another latchkey what it is and add it to your quarter of the house. Who wants what?
I feel like I was not even really involved in this investigation, so
Yeah, you weren't really involved in Deep Lake Lurker, were you?
Yeah, I'll happily just take a memento.
Right. Who do you want to?
Taylor can define that for me.
Right. Okay. A memento from the.
I'm going to save one for Amber as well,
Mhm.
or we'll let Amber choose one as well when Michael gets back.
Yeah, you will get the G.I. Joe action figure.
Didn't a kid take it?
If it's okay, I think it would be I think it'd be kind of morbid if Shane took the lifeguard whistle, and if it's okay, we could say it was Billy's. It was the one that Ash had from Billy from that day.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good.
What do you want, Taylor?
I would like Emily.
Emily, which is everyone. She's available to everybody, but just by choosing it. Fantastic.
Where do I put her?
Yeah, this sheet doesn't have a place to put these things. Maybe the DeGoya County tab. There's a place to track side characters there if you want, so you can maybe put there with a note that you get an extra clue when you consult her about what is it?
Yeah, I'll just put her in my notes as well.
Yeah.
Just so I know.
Yeah. Emily Beaumont. One extra clue. What's the thing that she gives you an extra clue on?
Deep Lake's natural environments.
Oh, natural environments. Very good.
Which fits.
Yeah. Love that. Okay, cool. Let's keep going with our phase here. Dawn questions. Everyone gets credit for the first, which is, did the latchkeys resolve a mystery? Yes, you did. We'll give Amber credit for it as well. Taylor, did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake? Yes, quite literally.
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Literally, physically, in every way possible. Were you vulnerable to someone? Yes, with the lake. Zachary.
Also with
True, yeah. Zachary, did you receive a signal from the other side? Oh, we didn't do that today, so you can't get that one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you share a good memory from your childhood?
Like, I very, very briefly talked to FG about my brother, but I don't think that really qualifies as a good memory. And the dream definitely wasn't a good memory.
The dream definitely was not. Did you cut loose for once?
It's like maybe by just like bull rushing that guy at the end of the maze.
Yeah, I was even thinking like just going into the silo without any particular,
and
like
avoiding
hesitation.
Like whatever Air Force patrol that was.
Yeah, you could take that one. Shane Wright, were you vulnerable with someone? Tim Crayley.
I was certainly vulnerable several times over.
Several times, I would say. Did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake? Yeah, you did, because you went to the arcade. Even you didn't really have to do that. Fantastic. That's Dawn questions answered. You can change the elective ones if you wish, and then that's that. Let's go to stars and wishes. I'll start today with stars and say that this was a really fun session. I liked this a lot. It was there was so much like action and scares and tension and danger, and it was a really fun introduction to Shane. Shane got dropped in the deep end of Deep Lake right away, and so that's my associated wish is when we bring Shane and all the latchkeys together, like introducing Shane into the scenario and all that stuff will be fun. You're all eventually going to have to learn about Ash, so that's a thing that we'll have to kind of figure out how that looks as well. Obviously, Amber knows, but maybe Amber can confirm, or whatever we think is going on with Tim Crayley. I think it's interesting that 2 of our 3 little wolves are now out of commission. Just 1 left out of 485. That's kind of interesting. Star for the honestly, all 3 sort of like all 3 of the sort of divergent scenes were quite good. Really, really loved the ritual with this strange child entity in the crater. That was fantastic. That whole sequence was fantastic. Star for like just drowning yourself in for the sake of the moment. I thought that was really great. Star for just I really, really love the way Zachary interacts with the Black Leaf Circle. Like it's so like of all the latchkeys to torment, it would be Zachary, right? Like, which I think is like it's so perfect. Just yeah, the level of seriousness with which the Blackleaf Circle takes everything they do, and the lack of and the amount of dismissiveness that Zachary treats it with is pretty fantastic. So yeah, love that. That was really, really great. And all, yeah, the whole thing with FG was really fun too. Just going out to the silo and stuff, that was all really fun. Like having your little X-Files moment. And yeah, Shane, yeah, like I said, Shane being just like plunged right into the danger straight away, the literal danger that took her brother is really great also. And I like the way you're playing Shane. Like it's very like reasonable and normal and appropriately like freaked out by everything, but trying to keep your cool because of your brother and the need to figure out what happened. And I'm very, obviously we all got some really, really dark insights into all the characters today. So I'm very excited to continue exploring those interesting angles that were explored in the keys, which were all fantastic. Another star for those. So yeah, just good session. Had a good time.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Yeah, definite stars for I love especially I love Rob your key with the I love all of the keys. I loved the sort of like tie into Waco and militarism with this like this like militarized court of the occluded king. I thought that was a really there's something very, very, very like I don't know, I guess topical about it, especially given like the era that was going on in like post 9/11. Like you could get to like a lot of really, really weird stuff with that. But I liked the theming of it and all that. I thought it was really really evocative. Super creepy key from Taylor. The like, oh, I just happened to be with my dead father for 7 days. I would love to know why just 7 days? Why not a whole month? No. Like I yeah, I
Started
do want to know.
smelling.
Should go to school.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the thing. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely very creepy. And also like gives me at least, or what it gives me sort of like an insight into her, like a meta insight into her that I didn't have before, and like because she's always sort of approached things with this sort of like cavalier attitude, this like nonchalance that like now makes sense. She'll just live 7 days with a corpse. Like what else is going to affect her at that point? So it gives a little bit more context to some of her behavior that's been going on, and I think that's really interesting. I loved the scene. I forget what the guy's name was called. It was like something serpent tongue or something like that.
Oh, the
Like
wizard,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah, the wizard. I thought, and
Yeah.
like him like fumbling for somatic components, like, and just the imagery of like Zachary just being so over it. Like, what is this nerd doing? Like, get out of my way. I love that scene a lot. And yeah, super creepy stuff with both Deputy Torres and Tim Crayley. Glad that I am just a lightning rod for terrible rolls. Literally did not roll above a 6 all night, which is great. And yeah, so I guess my wish is just to see how Shane sort of gets into the fold of everything. And yeah, I'm really anxious to like resolve the current mysteries, because I feel like we've got a lot of clues there. So I think after one more day phase of investigating, we should
Yeah, you
hopefully have
got
enough
two.
to
You're
get to.
pretty close to being ready to put away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say as a wish, I'm excited to have Michael back, and I want to because I want to see what Amber has been up
Mm.
to and what Amber's doing as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I want to see what she's been up to and how she's dealing with being the person who found Ash,
Yeah.
and like the fallout from that.
Yeah, I think like big stuff. I already had a lot of fun watching Shane step on rakes all the way through the session. That was fun. I really liked the ritual and in particularly how like Taylor kind of interacted with Jessica to like convince her that, oh, these aren't your. There was a really great moment where he said something like, "Oh, these, are they still your friends or are they scared of you now?" And that was like a really good. I could see that being in some kind of horror fiction or horror movie or something as something the final girl would deploy to convince the slasher of what's what they're doing. Yeah, then a bunch of wishes. I think I really like. I had a lot of fun with um, Zachary just abandoning FG to be like lifted by the Air Force guard, whatever. So I'm like Zachary does not care, but I as a player am interested to find out what happened to FG and if we're going to encounter him again, where he is now, like what happened to him. Looking forward to getting the players together and like actually us encountering Shane because none of us have met her yet. And I also want to find out like who did eventually find Taylor's dad and convince Taylor that he was dead. Because like it's totally open ended at the moment. That's not been established. So yeah, looking forward to future keys there.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Any other stars or wishes?
Yeah, I enjoyed the whole session very much, and I think it was the time just flew by. It was all very exciting and never boring at all. So I I also loved how Zachary acted. I mean, he actually abandoned the guy. Yeah, that was, and how fed up he was with the whole serpent's shenanigans. Why is he the one solving that mystery? That's a big mystery here. Because Amber isn't here, I guess. And I love getting to know Shane. She seems awesome, and I already have a crush on her. And I loved all the things that did not happen as well, because they were super creepy. I mean, the things that happened were creepy as well, but yeah.
Alternate
And
timelines.
yeah, exactly. I love that. And I really enjoyed the keys this time, especially. And I would like to, yeah, for the others to meet Shane and to see how everyone reacts to, yeah, to her brother's death, of course. And I'm looking forward to some more character interaction, because this time in particular we didn't even see each other once, I think, for the whole night. So maybe we could like not split the party 4 ways next time. I don't know. That would be kind of nice. Yeah. That's it.
Fantastic. Any other stars and wishes? Okay, great session. Thank you all so much, everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and wave goodbye to people watching the video. Goodbye, everyone.